Hello and welcome to the Fight to Fight with me, Holly Donovan. And today we are joined by a very special guest. We have five-time boxing champion in 3 different weight categories with a CV that is actually quite unbelievable. We have SusieQ. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
An absolute pleasure. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And thank you so much for tuning in from Australia. I know it's the evening right now.
Yes, it's 8:30 over here, so nice and warm actually tonight, which is good.
Oh, lovely. I'm very jealous. London is cold. Move right over. So I want to start off by saying, well, congratulations for a start. So, I mean, looking at your CV and everything that you have done, you have been consistently in world level fights since what, 2009? My first question is how do you manage to stay at the top of your game constantly and for so long?
You know, I actually didn't think about that, but I think I'm probably the only Australian who's been fighting the longest as a professional. So honestly, you know, everything's about consistency. Like if you want to get far, you want to achieve things. You know, it's all about, I think that's the main thing, is being consistent. I'm always consistent with my training. I love it. You know, I love training. I love fighting. You know, I love boxing. So I think, you know, being passionate about it is another reason as well. So, you know, I've done really well, knock on wood, no injuries. So that's you know, I think that's you know, really important. You know, if you want to have a long career in boxing, you know, knowing what boxing is like, you know, it's all about hit and don't get hit. So
yeah,
you've done well so far.
Yeah, absolutely. So you had a couple of years out. Yeah, couple of years out for lockdown. So I know that you guys were locked up for like 1,000 years. So when you were finally released back into the world, you went straight in for a world ranked opponent. And then pretty much straight after that, you took on Shanika Johnson in another world title fight. So did you not want a warm up or like to ease yourself in or anything like that?
I think for me at my level, a warm up is someone ranked, you know, in the top 10. Otherwise, I mean, it's almost like, you know, it's hard to get motivated if you're not fighting someone in the top 10. I'm pretty much old school, so you know, I like the hard fights. And yeah, I think the fight after that, I probably needed more time. I mean, that was jumping up 2 weight divisions, but
yeah,
knowing, you know, my opponent, she was a lot bigger than that. Yeah. So I mean, I can't put on weight. The only time I can put on a kilo is during that time a month as a female, and I'll hold about, you know, a kilo of water around my waist. And
yeah,
that was I was lucky that happened. You know, for that fight, because they probably wouldn't have sanctioned it. So, but yeah, it's you know, it's been great. I mean, I love it. That's the main thing for me, is the challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely don't make it easy for yourself.
No, I mean, look, I think my whole life's just been that way. You know, I've had a tough upbringing, and you know, I mean, look, I've been in situations where, you know, there's, you know, near death. You know, I've been held hostage, had a knife put out on me, rolled a car, and you know, I'm lucky to be alive. So, you know, with things that are happening in my life, I think it's made me who I am today, and it's made me that strong person, and to take those bigger challenges and harder challenges. So the easier it is, I think, the boring. I mean, it's boring for me if it's easy. So the harder it is, yeah, you feel better.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. If it's not hard, it's not worth doing.
Exactly.
That's great that you brought up your upbringing as well, because I would like to rewind, and I want to know how you found boxing. And the fact that something that really baffles me is that boxing in Australia, so it wasn't legal for women to fight until I think it was 2000 in Queensland, and then New South Wales wasn't until 2009. So how did you manage to find it? And yeah, tell me.
Oh, I was lucky I was in Melbourne, so but yeah, look, it was extremely hard at the time. Yeah, especially certain states, obviously New South Wales, it was banned professional boxing. So I really had to make a statement, you know. I really had to work extremely hard, and because they had this whole view of like women can't fight, and it's, you know, it's not good to watch, and you know, they don't have the skills and that sort of stuff. So I had to make sure that, you know, I was learning all the boxing skills, and the way the old school is, it's almost like, they want you to get a lot of experience, a lot of fights. I mean, even if you're an amazing fighter, they won't throw you in for a world title, even if you're ready for it. It's just that they want you to keep getting as much experience, and when you do get to that level, like myself, and I can be consistent at that level. So look, it was really hard, and we just had to knock on everyone's door, and and finally, they allowed me to fight, and everyone loved it, the crowd loved it, and I just had to keep being consistent, with my boxing skills and get better. And yeah, look, and then I think I ended up fighting on Anthony's undercard in New South Sydney, it was somewhere around there, but yeah, or Queensland, I'm not sure. But yeah, everything changed, so I got to fight there as well afterwards. So they made a complete change after seeing me, I think, and also because we had so many, we did a lot of work behind the scenes as well. At the Foxtel didn't want to televise women's boxing, so my Australian title fight at the time, they weren't going to televise it, and then they had so many people just calling in making complaints about it, so they changed it like 2 days before fighting. So I mean, look, I remember 2011, before going to Mexico, we trained in America, and we went and spoke to like Showtime and all that, and they didn't want anything to do with women's boxing. So it was very tough. I just had to keep going, and I did. So
yeah. How did you find opponents? Because obviously you were one of the first, really, I think, an absolute pioneer. So did you find enough people to fight and to practice your skills?
Well, I fought a lot of males, obviously, because there wasn't many girls around. I think there was only one or two pro girls in Australia. So in a way, I think it worked out well for me, because we had to get them in internationally. So so that sort of pushed which will cost more money. So it pushed women's boxing a bit more, I think. It was hard to get opponents, but considering how hard it was, and the lack of females around and all that, and not having the exposure, and the world titles were it would be hard to get, but we managed to do all that. So I'm truly blessed.
Yeah. How did you?
We really pushed really hard, and we worked extremely hard.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you find your way to the Brizzy gym? Like, what made you walk in?
I think my life just sort of took me there. It's it was one day I woke up and I said, like, I've got to really change my life, change my ways, and look, we just went through many challenges in life, and from a hard growing up, it was tough as a kid, and then being this shy girl and getting bullied, and then turning the extreme opposite, and started hanging out with the wrong people, and all that sort of stuff, and bad relationships, and things like that. So it was so much. My health was pretty bad as well, because all the stuff I went through, and like I said, I'm lucky to be alive, and I wanted to. I was driving past there and seeing a bunch of people out there, and I just said, look, this is something that I reckon will discipline me, because I played soccer for many years. I didn't take it serious the first year, because I was falling over my feet more than kicking the ball, but I done extremely well in soccer, and I think that's where I sort of noticed that competition side of me, the competitive side, and that where that drive to become better and be able to do something, because physically, I was capable of doing something, so I wanted to do something that was a bit more challenging. And boxing, I noticed them out there, and I said, that's it, I'm going to box to be a millionaire.
And how did you manage? I read that you worked as a PT as well. I also read that you worked as a private investigator, by the way. I think that's really cool. So I was wondering how you managed to make these things balance. So how did you do, a full-time job and box? Because obviously, like back then, I'm guessing the money wasn't there.
Well, the money was definitely there as an investigator. So, I mean, look, it's obvious, because I was sort of, look, I was pretty well known in Melbourne before being a boxer, because of the people I hung around with, and all the bad people that you think you're cool at that time. You think you. So I think it was all that, and then I sort of wanted to straighten my life and went into that field. And I worked as an investigator many years, but obviously the past creeps up here, and so that didn't turn out. So I sort of had to leave that, and I got into PTs and stuff obviously when I started boxing.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed teaching people and getting them fit and all that sort of stuff as well. So yeah.
Yeah. No,
I love being active.
So you just keep going. You like having tons to do.
Yeah, I do. Like, I'm very active. Like, I've got a lot of energy, and I think a job for me that sort of hasn't got that physical side of things. It's like I get bored pretty quick.
Yeah.
I like that, a lot of physical. But I mean, as a fighter, I also know recovery is so much. It's really, really important. So I know during camp times, obviously I cut back a lot, and that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm always on the go.
Yeah. So when you were in Brizzy Gym and you first went there, did you have to fight to get noticed, or were there any other females? Was it just you? Like, how did that make you feel?
It was just me, and they didn't take me serious at all.
Oh.
I went in and said I want to fight, and they said, "Oh no, you're too small. You're a girl. You could get hurt. You could train here anytime you want." And so I was the first one in, last one out, and had to prove them wrong. So, wow. And it was only months later they said, "You want to fight?" I said, "Bloody oath." It went like this. So, yeah,
that's really cool.
I think I must have seen something in me, that determination, and really willing to learn, because I wanted to learn so much. Yeah. Because everything I was learning at the gym, I was practicing at home as well. So, and I think they could see that, and yeah, which was good.
See that dedication, proving them wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about your community. So not only are you a female being a boxer, but you're from a Muslim community, female trying to be a boxer. So how did that play out, and what was the reaction from the community, and how did you have to deal with that?
Yeah, it was very hard. I mean, being I'm Australian born and raised in Australia, and other than that, being a Muslim as well, and being a female, it was the whole thing about, no, you should be at home in the kitchen, and you should be married with kids, and the typical sort of thing. But it's but I think it was more so. It wasn't just the Muslim community; it was just the old school, like, just people, just like a lot of the guys didn't think that women should fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, so eventually it took a while, obviously, to change people's minds, especially in the Muslim community. And because they're very protective over women, and they feel that women shouldn't be getting hurt and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, now it's changed, and they're all in for it. It's because it's great for, self-defense, confidence, fitness, and all those sorts of things as well. And there are many Muslim women competing now as well. So things have turned around, and it's just fantastic to see.
Yeah, it really is. I think as well, I think it's incredible how long ago you did that as well, because over here in the UK, we've got a couple that are coming through, and it feels very new. And then actually it's not new. You did this, you did this 15 years ago. And I think that's incredible that you were like the first. Yeah. And it's incredible. Well done.
Thank you. Like I said, I always love the hard work, don't I?
Yeah, you've done it all. You did all the hard work so that everyone else then followed. So I've got to ask now, like, what's next? Do you fancy coming to the UK? That's my first question. I think that you would have a lot of support over here. We love Australian fighters. So would you fancy that?
Yeah, I'd definitely love to. And I've got some friends over there as well. Like, I've got cousins that live there that I haven't seen in a while. And okay, look, I'm not just going to come for a holiday. I'd love to fight there. Absolutely, But yeah, I think, UK now, they're really booming with boxing. And to be honest with you, like, women's boxing is fantastic at the moment. Like, there's so many girls. But, there's always pros and cons with everything. And I feel that, there's a lot more girls, not just myself, but like around the world and America as well. Girls that have been ranked, girls that are doing well. I think, a lot of them, I mean, I could say UK is sort of like the mecca of boxing at the moment, right? So to mix it up and bring them all in and get some great fights happening would definitely be amazing. Yeah, for sure.
It'd be really exciting. Would you consider fighting? I know Ebony Bridges, you're similar. You could be in the same weight category. Do you fancy a fight with her? Or maybe, was it Shannon O'Connell, who got, she beat Chanaka Johnson, I saw. So do you fancy either of those?
Yeah, well, Shannon fought Chanaka Johnson, that was bantamweight. To be honest with you, Chanaka Johnson's, she walks around, she's very heavy, you know.
Yeah.
So she does well getting down to super bantam and bantamweight. You know, super bantam is big for me. Obviously, I'm really small. Bantamweight and strong. Super flyweight's only a kilo. Yeah. So I'm happy to fight either super fly or bantamweight. You know, I'll definitely fight Ebony Bridges. I mean, you know, and then it's not about the exposure or any of that. I'm not fussed about that, to be honest, you know, because my goal was to fight for a super flyweight world title, and that's what I was aiming for after lockdown. And then that obviously the other fight happened and all that. So yeah, so I'm not fazed about all that. But in terms of a fight, yeah, definitely. I mean, if you know, I'm all down for any fight, to be honest. I mean, look, there could have been an opportunity for Dina, you know, and we were happy about it, but obviously we couldn't arrange things in terms of like you know, the financial side of it, and you know, obviously the 3 Denmark judges, it's sort of, so it'd have to be, you know, 50-50, or you know, it had to be kind of worthwhile. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I'd be happy to fight anyone, to be honest, in bantamweight or super fly. Yeah, so it just depends what we can get. If she puts her hand up, I'll definitely be there, but I don't think she will.
Oh, I'd love it though.
I think it'd be exciting too, because we used to be friends, and you know, I think she's still holding a grudge because I think it's gone dark now. Sorry, I think because it was sunny and that. But can you see me? Or?
I could just about see you. You're a shadow. You're a shadow.
Yeah.
Why do you hold a grudge, or does she hold a grudge, or something happened?
No, I don't have a grudge at all. Like you know, nothing at all. I think she does. I think she's still a bit, shitty about it though. You know, just it didn't work out. You know what I mean? I don't want to get into it too much, to be honest. Just you know, I didn't feel that she was a friend, and it didn't work out, and I didn't want to associate myself. Like I'm one of these people who look, I've had so many friends, and obviously when I got into boxing, I took it very seriously. So I had to pick and choose my friends, who I hang around with, all those sorts of things. I stay away from drama, anything that's got to do with drama, because you know, you get to an age where, you know, because you can't be bothered with that. Or I focused on boxing so much that, you know, there's no room for, because boxing is a lifestyle, and it's not about the training and all that sort of stuff, but it's outside as well, you know, what you eat, how you sleep, who you hang around with, all those sorts of things. So, so it'll be a good fight, I think, because of that, because,
I think the styles would make it as well, because I think you're very technical with the power, and she's got the kind of like cardio with crazy power. So I think if the styles would make such a good fight. I'm excited about that now. I think that would be great.
Well, if they call for it, I'll definitely take it.
I'll try. Oh, you've gone very dark now, but it's all right. I'll let you go. But thank you so much. Is that all right?
Oh, sorry, I just got my hand over there at the moment.
Okay, do you know what? Technology is a nightmare.
Yeah, because it's daylight saving, so we're still there's still some light, and I didn't turn the light on, so
it's okay. Don't worry. Thank you so much for talking to me today. Like, I've really appreciated it, and I can honestly say that it was a privilege, like seeing everything that you've done, being excited about you. And I mean, I'm a boxing fan first and foremost before the presenting, and I know that I would love to see you over here. So maybe I don't know, be mean to Ebony on Twitter, because I'm telling you that then they'll put the fight on.
I just can't be somebody that I'm not. So
I agree. No, don't worry.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah. But you never know what happens.
Yeah. Well,
thank you. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
Thank you very much.
I can't wait for your next fight. So thank you so much.
Yes. Have a good one. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much.